like a great teacher is one that is not afraid to show that they're still learning and be able to see the world from the perspective of a student. You know, oftentimes somebody who is in the position of an educator, they're seen as all-knowing authority on a subject. And I feel that by telling my students that I don't know most things, but I am as curious as you are to learn and fall on my face, make mistakes, get up, and continue. That is the skill that I want them to learn. By showing them that I am as vulnerable as they are, you know, on stage. When you're exposed, you're like naked, improvising, playing something from scratch. There's a lot of vulnerability there. And that is, I feel everything that they're feeling.
I've always had this love for jazz, and I needed to find a way to enhance my improvisational skills. And so the SoCal Jazz Academy, under the leadership of Dr. Yingsep, really helped me to identify areas that I needed to focus on to really make that happen.
Yeah, that's a very, very important photograph. This music is music of African American diaspora. I feel that is a great reminder where it came from and the people who gave their lives in making it possible. This music is so powerful because it can bring a lot of different people together, different backgrounds, different ethnicity, race. When we got this building, I really wanted to make sure that we acknowledge where it came from. The biggest fear that I've had is to step outside to the public and say, hey, here's a school and it's jazz school. That's something that's like close to going to the moon because it requires a lot of not being afraid, not being afraid to be wrong, not being afraid maybe to be ridiculed or not being afraid to fail. First 6 months when I said it out loud online, I made a Facebook page, SoCal Jazz Academy. And I would wake up with panic attacks, first 6 months, because I thought like somebody's gonna come up and say, this guy, like he is like an imposter. But at first it was very scary because who are you? Like, where did you come from? And how things that I was asking to myself, like, how dare you claim to teach jazz to Americans?
What I found at SoCal Jazz Academy, and with Kareem Engsep in particular, is that the style of teaching, the method that he has, is very different. He welcomes everybody at all levels.
I play piano and drums. I've been with SoCal Jazz Academy for 5 years.
Wow.
I love just the friendly environment, and we learn, but we also have so much fun while learning.
I was born in Kazakhstan in 1977 in Ataral by the Caspian Sea. My family moved to Almaty shortly thereafter and moved a lot in those days. My dad was working at Polytechnical Institute or University. He studied in Moscow. And so when he came back home to Kazakhstan, he brought a lot of records, vinyl records. And he really has a great taste in music. And so I think a lot of my curiosity with later, which was to become jazz, was because of his influence. And he was the one who brought me to music school. This was 1994 when I finished high school. There weren't a lot of opportunities for kids my age to study abroad. One of the few opportunities was to go to Turkey. What happened was that while I was in Turkey and ended up in Ankara, back then internet was very practically non-existent. and I had a shortwave radio. And one of the first programs, how I got started with jazz, right, is there was a program on Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty called 49 Minutes of Jazz. And I would listen to that record, the program. And every week they would talk about one jazz musician and they would talk about another jazz musician. And I had just had this absolute amazement with, I had no idea what was happening, right? It just was like a magnet attracting you. And then I found out that there was a place called Ankara Jazz Club, and they would give free lessons. So this is an amazing resource, and I would just sign up. And this was like my first real experience hearing live jazz. In 2000, I finally realized my dream of going to the States. I first came to study English in the state of Oregon, applied to college, transferred my credits from Turkey, and I was nothing to do with jazz, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, study computer science, right? As I'm registering for classes, I see it says jazz ensemble, right? And I meet my first vendor, Gordon Lee, and he tells me, well, why don't you play some blues?
Such a pleasure to have you.
Yeah,
And
Kareem.
I
Well,
really miss hearing you guys play, and
yeah.
hopefully.
Well, I look forward to playing again with you someday.
Oh, it's my dream, man.
I mean, I remember those days back when we had it's sort of a, God, we didn't have complete sections. We only had,
Yeah.
we had two saxophones and one trumpet, but still we managed to play some concerts. And, it's people like you who are carrying the music on. I feel very gratified that you and many of my other students have,
Mhm.
they see that the jazz is this big thing. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me.
Mhm.
And we're carrying on this tradition. And again, like I say, this kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, among people into the future that connects going back to, to the great people of the past. So Duke Ellington affected me. So I affected you, so you affect your
Yeah.
students. Like this is all
Thank you.
a lineage, and it's great to feel like you're part of a lineage.
Yeah.
Karim Yangse.
When I went back home in 2012, after all this time, it was very scary to go back because everything changed. Kazakhstan that I left and came back to, it was a different country. But I went back with the idea that everything that I know about what I learned, I wanted to give back. Got a job and went out of my way to find a position at a Kazakh National University of Arts to teach music. And when the position became available to direct a big band, as educator, especially somebody who just finished grad school, that was one of the biggest moments in my life because I was given a big band. So I worked with those students 2 academic years. It was amazing because we were invited to festivals. It was amazing to talk to them about these concepts. It's uncommon to see student big bands come out all dressed in black. Most of them were Kazakh. Most of them were from like small towns and play jazz. And one day when we were playing in Kostanay, these directors, like old school guys, they've been through everything, right? And he came up to me and he said, I've never seen this many Kazakhs play jazz. And it was great because well, we can do it like that. In 2015, my wife won a green card. When we first came to Chicago and we worked there for a little bit and then wanted to come out to California, I remember talking to my wife about this and I said, I want to do the move there, but I'm going to do the move and going to open a school. Coming back, it was different, you know. Now, with a baby on the way, it's not about you anymore. You have to think about like two other people. Understanding that you have a passion, but you also have to sustain yourself. And I had to make certain adjustments in my life and also how I see myself, which means getting out and getting a job, you know, whatever it takes. I remember thinking, what can I tell my son when he asks, Daddy, what have you done, you know, in your life? Have you done something? And I remember thinking, like, I haven't done anything, nothing that I can be proud of. And I thought, like, so then you have to rise up to whatever challenge you have in your head. And I was like, well, my biggest challenge is opening a school. That way, when I look in his eyes, I can say proudly that, well, this is what I did.
My name is Aiden.
How old are you?
3 years.
What instruments do you play?
I play piano,
And then?
drums, guitar.
Like if you want to achieve something, this is what you have to do. And I did that in 2018 when we moved to California. I opened a school. To me, that was the biggest challenge. It was all the fears that I've had about myself, my insecurities, vulnerabilities, right? It was all like, bam. It's the scariest thing to do and the proudest thing to do. You can say, I have done what I wanted to do.